A place doesn't die all at once. First the people leave. Then the roofs go, and the streets fill with sand or ash or silence. And the town keeps standing there. Furniture on the tables, shoes by the door, a clock still on the wall, waiting for someone who is never coming back. Most abandoned places are just sad, but a few of them are something worse. There are ruins on this earth that the living are ordered to stay out of by governments, by soldiers, by signs that warn you the ground itself will kill you. Places where the air is poison, where the ground is on fire, where the reason everyone left is still there, waiting. These are 10 abandoned places so dangerous that even the explorers who chase the forbidden turn back at the gate, counting down to the one town on Earth no one is allowed to live in again. Number 10. Bodie, California, USA. High in the mountains east of the Sierra Nevada sits a gold town that simply stopped. At its peak, Bodie held thousands of people, dozens of saloons, and a reputation as one of the most lawless, violent boomtowns in the American West. Then the gold ran out, and everyone walked away and left it exactly as it stood. It survives now in what they call arrested decay. The same dishes on the same shelves, the same bottles on the same bar, over a century later. And there is a warning that comes with it. Visitors who pocket a nail, a shard of glass, a splinter of Bodie as a souvenir, report a run of misfortune so consistent the rangers keep a file of the letters begging to send the pieces back. Take nothing from Bodie. The town, they say, does not like to be robbed twice. Number 9. Kolmanskop, Namibia. In the Namib Desert stands a town the desert is eating alive. Kolmanskop was built on diamonds. A rich little slice of Europe dropped into the dunes, with a ballroom, a hospital, the first X-ray station in the southern hemisphere. When the diamonds were exhausted, the miners left, and the sand moved in. Now dunes pour through the front doors and climb the staircases. Whole ballrooms sit waist-deep in sand. The wind never stops reshaping it. Walk into a room, and there is no floor. Only the slow tide of the desert reclaiming everything a fortune built, one grain at a time. Number 8. Krakow, Italy. On a ridge in southern Italy is a stone town 1,000 years old that the earth decided it no longer wanted. Krakow clung to its hilltop through the Middle Ages, but the ground beneath it was never stable. Landslides and earthquakes tore it open until, in the 20th century, the last families were forced out. What's left is a skeleton of towers and churches on a collapsing spine of rock, so unsafe that visitors are only allowed in wearing hard hats and led by a guide. The buildings still lean over the empty streets. Every year, a little more of Krakow slides down the hill and is gone. Number 7. Bengar Fort, India. In the hills of Rajasthan stands a ruined city that the government of India has officially forbidden anyone to enter after dark. Bengar was a thriving fortress town 4 centuries ago. Then, in a single generation, it emptied, and the legend of a curse never left it. Today, a sign posted by the national authorities warns visitors that entering the fort between sunset and sunrise is prohibited. It is one of the only places in the country with a law like it. Locals will not build homes with roofs near the site. Whatever people believe happened at Bengar, the fear of it was strong enough to become an official order. Number 6. Varosha, Cyprus. On the coast of Cyprus is a resort that was frozen the moment its people ran. In the 1970s, Varosha was a glittering beach district. High-rise hotels, movie stars, one of the most fashionable strips in the Mediterranean. Then war reached it. The population fled in hours, and the district was sealed behind a military fence and left exactly as it was. For decades, no civilian was permitted inside. Shops still held clothes in 50-year-old fashions. Car dealerships still held cars no one ever bought. Soldiers guarded the wire, and the tower stood empty above an empty beach. A whole city held hostage by a line no one was allowed to cross. Number 5. Oradour-sur-Glane, France. Some places are abandoned. This one was preserved on purpose, as a wound. In June of 1944, A French village was destroyed in a single afternoon. Its people killed. Its buildings burned. When the war ended, the decision was made never to rebuild it. The rusted shell of a car still sits in the main street where it was that day. Sewing machines and cooking pots still rust in the roofless houses. A new town was built next door, and the ruin was left standing as a memorial that must never be repaired. To walk through Orador is to walk through a moment that was deliberately never allowed to end. If this is getting under your skin, subscribe. Every week we go somewhere the world would rather stay buried. Number 4. Wittenoom, Australia. There is a town in Western Australia that the government erased from the map, removed its name from the road signs, cut its power, struck it from official records, because the air itself is deadly. Wittenoom was built on blue asbestos mining, and the same dust that made it rich saturates the ground for miles. Every breath there carries fibers that can lodge in the lungs and kill decades later. Authorities have spent years trying to demolish what's left and keep people out. And still, thrill seekers drive in to stand in a town that officially no longer exists, breathing an air that has already killed thousands who once called it home. Number 3. Hashima Island, Japan. Off the coast of Nagasaki rises a slab of concrete in the ocean that the Japanese call Gunkanjima, the battleship island. For decades, it was the most densely populated place on Earth. Thousands of coal miners and their families packed onto a rock the size of a few city blocks. When the mine closed in the 1970s, everyone left in a matter of weeks, and the sea began pulling the island apart. The apartment blocks are rotting from the salt air, stairwells collapsing, floors giving way. Most of it is so structurally unsound that visitors are confined to a single narrow walkway, forbidden from the ruins where the concrete could come down at any moment. Number 2. Centralia, Pennsylvania, USA. In Pennsylvania, there is a town sitting on top of a fire that has been burning underground for more than 60 years. In 1962, a coal seam beneath Centralia caught fire, and it never went out. It spread through the mine tunnels under the town, and it is still burning today, and may burn for another century. The ground opened in places, venting smoke and carbon monoxide. A boy nearly vanished into a sinkhole that opened beneath his feet. The state condemned the whole town, bought out and demolished nearly every building, and revoked its zip code. A handful of stubborn residents held on for years. The streets are still there, cracked, steaming, going nowhere, above a fire no one can put out. Number 1. Pripyat, Ukraine. And the one town on Earth no one is allowed to live in again sits beside the ruins of a nuclear reactor. Pripyat was built for the workers of Chernobyl, a modern Soviet city of nearly 50,000, with schools and a new amusement park set to open. In April of 1986, the reactor next door exploded, and the entire city was evacuated in a single day. The people were told they'd be back in 3 days. No one ever went home. Nearly 40 years later, Pripyat still stands inside the exclusion zone. The Ferris wheel that never carried a passenger rusting in the square. Gas masks scattered across a schoolroom floor. The radiation still high enough in places to be lethal. Guides walk visitors along measured routes, dosimeters clicking, forbidden to sit on the ground or touch a wall. It is the largest ghost city on Earth, and the reason it will stay one is invisible, in the air and in the soil. And it is not going anywhere for a very long time. 10 places, and the same truth under all of them. People build, and people leave, but something stays behind. Sand, ash, fire, poison, the memory of a single terrible day. We tell ourselves the whole planet has been tamed, mapped, made safe, but every town on this list is proof of the opposite. That the world can take a place back whenever it decides to. And that some doors, once closed, are meant to stay closed. The lights are off in all of them tonight. And in a few of them, something is still waiting. Next time, we go somewhere the maps left blank on purpose.